Hi guys, in this video I'm gonna share some of my favorite lens camera combinations. Hi guys, my name is Matti Sulanto. I'm a photographer and a Lumix ambassador from Helsinki, Finland. And in this video I'm gonna share some of my current favorite lens and camera combinations with you guys. There are great lenses and great cameras. And we all have our favorite lens and probably our favorite camera. But some lens and camera combinations just work so well together that they seem like they were designed as a pair from the start. So here are my favorite lenses for the G90 camera. And I'm using the G90 here because I have it. There are other very similar Lumix camera bodies, the G80 and the G7 for example. They are very similar in size and weight with the G90. So if you have a favorite lens for either of those cameras, please let me know in the comments down below. But I'm gonna start with a zoom lens, which is the 12 to 35mm f2.8 zoom lens, and it's such a nice pair with this camera body. This camera is slightly smaller than the G9, and the zoom with this camera makes a really versatile and practical and relatively small package whenever I want to zoom around a little bit. And because I'm not a telephoto shooter to begin with, I'm really happy with the 35mm maximum focal length that I get with this lens. It equals to about 70mm in full frame terms. This lens has a really good optical performance, and it also has an optical stabilizer, which is dual IS compatible. So if you have a Lumix camera body with IBIS, you get the dual IS stabilizer, which is really effective, and it allows you to shoot at really long shutter speeds handheld. So this combination is also really good in low light situations where the scene or subject is not moving, even though the maximum aperture is not super bright, it's only f2.8. And then I have two favorite prime lenses to use with this camera body. And the first one is the 20mm f1.7 Lumix lens. And I really like this lens because it's so tiny and lightweight. This is almost like a pocket camera with this lens. And this lens is really sharp, and I like the 20mm focal length, which is about 40mm in full frame terms. And also the maximum aperture is relatively fast f1.7. So this is quite nice also in low light situations. Some people complain about the slow autofocus on this lens. And I suppose it could be a bit faster, but it's never been like a real problem for me. I use this lens for all kinds of general photography, street and documentary, and autofocus has never been a real problem for me. And then I have another favorite prime to use with the G90, and this is the Leica 15mm f1.7. This lens is also really small and lightweight, and this combination is really balanced and such a joy to use. And I like the aperture ring also. I use this lens whenever I need a little bit wider than the 20mm that I was just talking about. And this equals, the 15mm equals to about 30mm in full frame terms. So it's close to the classic 28mm street photography lens. No image stabilizer on this one or the 20mm that I was just talking about, but it's not really necessary on a wide angle, and the IBIS on the G90 is relatively effective. So another well-balanced, awesome combination here. And the lens is super sharp and compact and lightweight, so what's not to like? And I do have a separate video review of all these lenses that I'm talking about in this video, and I'll put a link to a playlist at the end of this video so you can check them out if you're interested. And now I'm gonna show you some of my favorite lenses to use with the Lumix G9 camera body. And I'm gonna start with the Leica 25mm f1.4 lens, which has become one of my all-time favorite lenses because of its should I say unique optical characteristics in the micro four thirds world. And the reason I like to use it on the G9 is that this lens is, well, it's not a big lens, but it's bigger than some other prime lenses in the Lumix micro four thirds lineup. And because of that, it makes a really awesome and balanced pair with the G9. This lens is really unique in the micro four thirds lineup compared to any lens because it's not clinically sharp like many of the new lens designs. And don't get me wrong, I appreciate the clinically clean sharpness also, but sometimes I really also appreciate the slightly vintage look that I get with this lens. And there are no other lenses in the micro four thirds autofocus lineup, at least, that give you the similar look as this lens. And with the G9, this lens simply shines. I've shot thousands and thousands of pictures on this combination, and the more I use it, the more I like it. But let me also show you another favorite lens to go with the G9. And here is the 42.5mm f1.2 Leica Nocticron short telephoto lens. The 42.5mm focal length equals to about 85mm in full frame terms. And again, reason to use this lens on the G9 is the size of the lens. This is pretty big for a micro four thirds lens. But it's such an awesome lens for all kinds of short telephoto work and of course for portraits especially. And there's also an optical image stabilizer in this lens, which is of course dual IS compatible, together with the very fast f1.2 maximum aperture. This lens is awesome also in low light situations, low light portraits or low light cityscapes, or wherever you need a short telephoto lens in low light. And this lens is one of the sharpest lenses you can buy for any micro four thirds camera. And I've said it many times that I'm not really a telephoto shooter, and I'm not, but whenever I need a short telephoto lens, I really like to pick up this combination. And now I'm gonna talk about my favorite lens camera combinations for video work. But before I go into that, please let me notify you that I have opened up a channel membership. There's a join button somewhere around there. Please check it out, and hopefully you will find my membership perks valuable enough to join in. I plan to expand and add some more perks in the future, but even as it is right now, I think it's worth it. And remember that at the same time, if you join in, you'll support my channel, and I'd really appreciate that. My favorite camera lens combination for all kinds of handheld video work is the Lumix G9 and the Leica 12-60mm f2.8 f4 lens. The zoom range of this lens is really practical for handheld video work, and it's dual IS capable, and also combined with the IS lock function in the G9, it gives you really super stable handheld video footage. The maximum aperture of this lens is variable from f2.8 to f4, but I find the f4 aperture just perfect, and I can keep the same aperture throughout the range. And if I'm outside, I put the Nisi Vario ND filter on the lens, so I can keep that f4 aperture even in bright sunlight. And then of course there's one more video camera lens combination that I really do like a lot, and that's the Lumix GH5S and the Leica 10 to 25mm f1.7 zoom lens. But I can't hold it in my hands right now because it's right there filming me at the moment. But I use that lens camera combination whenever I'm sure that I'm gonna put my camera on a tripod, whether it's inside or outside. The reason I mostly use it inside here in my office is that here I'm sure that I'm gonna put it on a tripod. When I go out, I'm not quite sure if I'm gonna also do some vlog style video, and then that combination is not ideal because there's no image stabilizer whatsoever. But other than that, it's such a great combination for video work. The constant, relatively fast maximum aperture is really good, and the zoom range of that zoom from 10 to 25mm is almost perfect for, at least for what I do here, and the video capabilities of the camera are so good. They are, you know, over the top for someone like me who's not a hardcore video professional. And I simply love that combination. It's been my workhorse combination for pretty much all my videos that I make here inside since I got the zoom lens. I used the GH5S even before that, but somehow that lens with that camera is simply just awesome. So these are my current favorite lens camera combinations. Of course, I use other combinations too if necessary, but at the moment these are something special for me. And like I said before, I have a separate review of all these lenses, and I'll put the link to those at the end of this video. And I also have affiliate links down below, so if you feel like shopping any of these lenses, please use those links. And if you have a special lens camera combination that means a lot to you, please let me know in the comments down below. It doesn't have to be a Lumix lens camera combination, any lens camera combination that is something special for you. Please let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.